All righty. You are looking live. It's all out MetLife Stadium where today the 16-0 and playoff bound New York Giants are taking on the 0-16 New York Jets. And why are the New York Jets 0-16? Because they suck. Man, it never gets old. Welcome to the Gridiron. Anybody out there at all that's going to spend a little bit of time listening to me live here, thank you. If anybody's going to spend any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. I'm going to try to go about 30 minutes here tonight. Shoot my mouth off for about 30 minutes. Anybody got anything to say, please feel free, fire away, throw it in the chat box. I usually try to check on the chat box like every 5 or 10 minutes. As soon as I see something in there, I try to respond to it as fast as I can. So please feel free, fire away. But plus also, instead of me just rambling on for half an hour, 45 minutes, or whatever it might wind up being, it's just nice to talk to another Giant fan. So please feel free and fire away. Before I get started, if anybody wants to help support my channel out, it would mean the absolute world to me. In the description box below, the top link, very top link in the description box, takes you to my membership page. I got 3 different membership levels. The first one's called the Saquon. Second one I got is called the Lawrence Taylor, and the third one I got is called the Gridiron. Each membership level's got their own little perks to them. So if you want to help support my channel, it means so much to me, and I would thank you in advance. Thank you. If you are subscribed to my channel, once again, thank you. I can use all the support I can get, guys. But if not, please go down below, hit the subscribe button, hit that bell icon. That way, next time I go live or I put a video out, you'll be notified. And it's free of charge. What do you got to lose, right? But if you are subscribed to my channel, thank you. And then also, there's further down in the description box, there's 2 additional links. The top one is a Facebook link, which I'll go over in just a second. The other one is a Twitter link. It's always been Twitter. It's Twitter today. It'll be Twitter tomorrow. It'll be Twitter forever in the future. Whatever letter of the alphabet Elon Musk wants to call it, that's on him. I'm not calling it that. It's Twitter. If you want to follow me on Twitter, I will follow you back. That's an absolute promise. And then also the other link is a Facebook link, takes you to my Facebook group. It's called the New York Giants, the Gridiron. It's a group. We got over 6,900 members in there. It's doing just fantastic. Basically, I'm putting stuff in there every day. If I'm alive and breathing, if I have internet access, there's stuff going in that group darn near 365. And not only do I put stuff in here, but if you become a member, members post stuff in there as well, too. So between me and the members, there's a ton of New York Giants information going in there, darn near 365. Please join it. You won't be disappointed, I promise. All right, well, all that stuff said and done that way with, well, I mean, let's see. They got the injury bug once again is Giants, well, to be honest, has come down a little bit, although I get, in a way, the list has come down a little bit. The problem is some of those guys that were injured are now on injured reserve, so they're not on. That's why they're not on the list. All right, so I think the Giants. Let me count. I had to take I had to count my 2 hands. I had to start counting on my toes here, which is not good for me here. But the injury, I think it was 13 guys. Of course, and there's not including the guys that like Lemieux got Azudu, Lemieux, Parrott, some of the guys that got put on injury reserve. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we got 13 guys. Well, one of them was like the sexy one. He had a day off. He did not participate in practice. It was a rest day. Another thing was he did not participate today. Text to Lawrence. So good. The way guys plays, he plays his heart out every freaking play and all that stuff. And I give the man a freaking day off. Absolutely. We got Gary Brightwell. This hamstring did not participate. It might be just another one of the reasons why we have Saquon, right? We got Breida, and then we got Corbin. So there might be another reason why with Brightwell he may not be playing with his hamstring. We got Leonard Williams. He was full participation. That's good. Saquon was limited with his elbow. His hyperextended his elbow. He'll be playing, but they just limited him. Just give him another couple days off or whatever. If the man needs a day or 2 off, give the freaking guy a day off. Give him the week off, whatever. Just have him sit down and take naps all week. Whatever you need, Saquon, you do it, brother. Graham Gano with his left knee. He was full participation. Adoree Jackson with his neck, limited. Daniel Jones with his neck, he was limited. Evan Neal with his ankle, he was limited. Michael Schmitz with his shoulder, he was limited. Kayvon with a knee, he was limited. Andrew Thomas, his hammy, he was limited. Darren Waller with his hamstring was limited. And Wan'Dale Robinson with his knee, he was limited. I think it's the same thing with him. I think it's just like, because coming back from the injury and all that stuff, I think they're just going to, try to really just ease him back as best as they can. They don't want to put any extra pain or strain on his knee. So give the man some time off. Absolutely. But the Jets got some of their own. Now, you're not exactly sure, okay? With Gardner, Sauce on the side, Gardner with concussion. He was apparently full participation. So, and Reed. There were two guys, was Reed and Gardner. I think they were the two guys. I think they were both out against the Eagles, and they both had concussions. So apparently they're both full participation. So the Jets, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They had 10 guys on their list, but a lot of them were full participation on Thursday. Mekhi Becton, Mike Clemens, Brandon Eccles, Ahmad Gardner, a little sauce on the side, Jermaine Johnson, and DJ Reed. They got all these guys. So basically, they had 1, 2, 3 guys who were limited, and one guy that did not participate. Joe Tipman did not participate in practice. He had it with a quad. But Randall Cobb was limited with a shoulder. Michael Carter the second, he was limited with a hamstring, and Irv Charles, wide receiver, he was limited with a shoulder. But other than that, the Jets seem to be relatively healthy. Part of that also had to do with they just had a bye week too. So hopefully, with any luck, when the Giants have their bye week, right? Hopefully they'll be coming back healthy. Well, we got Joe. Go Hawks. I'm also rooting for the Giants this weekend. Oh, good. Good. Thank you. We can use all the support we can get. Let me tell you what. Oh, what's up there? Vinny G, man. Haven't heard from you in a while there, brother. Good to hear from you. But hopefully when the Giants get, the problem is with the Giants, they get their bye weeks a little off, and but hopefully, their bye week, injury wise, we got to start getting some of these guys back. Although Pugh has done a decent job. Phillips did an admirable job. He didn't come right off the couch, but he right off the Eagles practice squad, he did a nice job. So, but we got to get some of these guys back. Andrew Thomas. My goodness. All right, so please forgive my stupidity. So this is game 8. So he got injured in week 1. So he's missed. This is probably the 7th week. I guess. I'm not a doctor, and I'm pretty stupid. So I guess what was explained. I don't know if Sean O'Hara explained it, but what Andrew Thomas is used to, right? You pass blocks, so you're stepping back, right? Or you run blocking, so you take a couple steps and you block, or you got to get to the second level, or you're pulling or whatever, But what Andrew Thomas did was, he was in there, right? And all of a sudden, for the field goal, I got blocked, and all of a sudden, of course, it bounced right to a Cowboy. And all of a sudden, just like that, Andrew Thomas has got to run into a full sprint. And, of course, you give the man all the credit in the world. You got to love him. Thankfully, he's on our team and all that. And but he's not catching that guy. And unfortunately, wound up costing him almost half the season. But, he did something that he's not used to doing, right? There's really no reason why Andrew Thomas for the most part, right? During the middle of a game, he's got to go into a full, how fast can I run 100 yards, right? That doesn't really happen. Oh, we got it. Were you mad about Evan Neal's comments about the fan? Nah. I mean, it is what it is. He said it. I'm sure, after that, it really seemed like, I don't know who it was talked to him. But, after that, he said, I apologize. I was, he said it, it is what it is. He's going to live and learn, he's not used to, it's pretty much like wherever he's gone, he's been, pretty much the cream of the crop at Alabama. He did very well. And also he's not used to suffering, struggling like this, shall I say. But, everybody's, it's understandable. What would bother me would be if he keeps saying stuff like that, then we might have ourselves a problem. But obviously somebody talked to him afterwards and he apologized. Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, I would be kind of ticked off too if I was him. I guess it's understandable. But as I said, he really seems like he's a true prideful guy and all that and everything. And he's not much of a talker. He doesn't do a lot of talking and everything like that. So as I said, but if he keeps doing stuff like that, then it would probably be a bit much. But you think DJ is going to play? GMS is finally put Neal on. Well, I'll tell you what, Phillips didn't do too bad of a job. We'll have to wait and see. Dable always says we're going to put the best guys out there to give us the best chance to win. So, I mean, Tyree Phillips might be just playing himself into a spot. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. I don't know about Daniel Jones if he's going to be playing. I mean, with his neck, he hasn't been cleared for contact yet. Today's Thursday. All of a sudden, tomorrow he's going to be cleared for contact, or Saturday he's going to be cleared for contact, and he's going to start getting. So I don't know about that. Mike was pissed. Joe, Steven, do you think DJ played jam? Mike was pissed. Who's Mike? But I don't know if I don't know if Daniel Jones is going to be playing. Yeah, but we'll have to wait and see with Evan Neal. I mean, is it Mike? Oh, Mike Francesca about about Evan Neal. Couple of the report. It was Mike Francesca, but there was another guy who's old. I can't remember what his name is. He's got hair and he's got a goatee or something like that. He was like I didn't listen to him or not like that, but there was like pictures of him like. You know what I mean? Like, his face was like, I thought he was going to put Neal on guard. Well, a lot of people, some people seem to think that, maybe they could try that. Other people seem to think that maybe he's just too tall. I mean, he's like 6'7". He might have a hard time at guard. I mean, the thing is that at guard, the nice thing is you're kind of like in a little bit of a phone booth. Obviously, you still got to move. There's going to be stunts and twists. If it doesn't matter where they put Evan Neal, they could put Evan Neal at wide receiver. They're going to run stunts and twists out at wide receiver. They put Evan Neal in the backfield. They're going to take all their guys. They're going to run into the backfield and do stunts and twists around Evan Neal in the back. It doesn't matter where he's at. If Evan Neal's on the sideline, they're going to, after they snap the ball, all 11 guys are going to run on the sideline for the defense and do stunts. Wherever he's at, they're going to do stunts and twists. So, so he's going to get annihilated with stunts and twists until he can finally figure out, and show that he can handle that and everything. But at least with if they do slide him into guard, if he can, he won't have to worry about anybody, one of the freaks of nature, shall we say, edge rushers, just basically kind of running around them. You also got to remember, a lot of times they talk about you kind of hoping though when you're pick number 7 in the draft, right, that you can kind of. Not always maybe a plug and play player where he's going to be an all-pro right away, but you kind of hope that reasonably within a year or so, the guy really starts blossoming and looking pretty good. But you also got to remember, he's only played like maybe 17 games, maybe 18 games in his whole career. 19, I forgot exactly what, so he's played only a little over a season. last year he played some. His knee was injured. Now he's got his ankle injured. So he's he hasn't really played a lot where he's been fully healthy. But also on the other hand, you like to see a little bit more of improvement from him. How patient they're going to be, but keeping him out there. It's like with Trey Hawkins and Deonte Banks. You're going to take your lumps sometimes, although they really haven't had many lumps with Deonte Banks. But maybe Trey Hawkins. If you're going to let Adoree Jackson go, who's going to take Adoree's spot? You might have to take some lumps with that. So they realize they're going to take some lumps. I don't know how long with the Evan Neal experience they're going to have him out there at tackle. They try to put him in there at guard because I remember the same thing with Eric Flowers. Eric Flowers, they had him at tackle, didn't work out at tackle, and then magically he went away and he wound up being a serviceable guard. I think I think they were the Redskins at the time. He got to the Redskins. I think he was a serviceable guard. Wasn't an all-pro Hall of Famer or nothing, but he was okay. And you have some bright spots. Oh, yeah. I mean, the middle of, and they always say, right, like defense in baseball, up the middle, right? You got your catcher, your shortstop, your second baseman, your center fielder, right? And then if you pitcher, like Greg Maddux, guy won like 315,000 Gold Gloves in a row. If you got to up the middle, if you're strong up the middle, right? So if you got sexy one and a Karake McFadden, right? Not bad. That's not bad. It's going to be interesting to see, because probably be Leo's last season with the Giants. Who do they replace him with? Because you do want to stay strong up the middle, especially, in the front wall too. The Giants they gotta build that up. Really need to build that up. Hopefully they do that in the draft. Tibbs playing. Oh yeah. Banks. Yep. At the top. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if there's like a losing season, say whatever, we don't make the playoffs and we wind up 7-10 or whatever. Just try to find the building blocks for the future. Does Trey Hawkins, does he come on? Does he look, okay, well, he might be the guy for the future. Pinnock's not doing too bad, right? Thibodeau's not doing too bad. We got the sexy one. We got our two inside linebackers. I don't know who we're going to replace Leo with. Maybe we can do that in the draft. Get a high defensive tackle in the draft. But just try to look at the positive. We're going to sign Xavier McKinney. But I mean, there's some some bright spots here. That's for sure. Absolutely. Hyatt, right? Andrew Thomas, John Michael Schmitz. It'd be nice to get those guys healthy and on the field at the same time. It's just a shame because the season's like going along and, we're barely hanging on by a shoestring, barely hanging on, hoping to get some guys back to me, because this is the time of the season. This is our schedule here. Don't want to say soft, but, this is a schedule. It's, where we should start. We got a chance of winning some games. And boy, it sure would be nice if we had all our players out there. I mean, all the top receiver. Oh yeah, and Banks. Oh yeah, Banks has done a phenomenal job. Really, really. Oh yeah. I mean, that was a good first round pick right there. Absolutely. Oh yeah, he's a keeper without question. All right, I saw this here with the Giant and the Jets. Now the Giants here, the scoring, they score 12.1 points per game. We average 278.4 yards a game. We average 100 yards a game rushing, 178 yards passing. Oof. But the thing is, the Jets give up 135 yards a game rushing. They give up a little over 200 yards passing. They give up about 20 points a game. Now they're like they'll play like some high safety, so you can maybe hit stuff underneath. They're very, very stingy deep. I heard something like their quarterback rating for their defense, the opposing team's quarterback, on passes that travel over 20 yards down the field, the quarterback rating is a 0. So they're pretty good. But they can give up rushing yards, right? One thing that goes to the Jets' advantage big time, which really sets them up for victory, is they get turnovers. You get a lot of turnovers, and giving the Jets short fields, then they wind up producing points out of that. So it's very, very important, and it's very good that we have Tyrod in there, because Tyrod is very good with the football. I don't want to jinx him, right? So please, I don't want to jinx anybody, but he's very good with the football, right? So if the Jets are going to score, now there's two things we gotta prevent, right? One thing is special teams. Can't have them, no kickoff for touchdowns, no punt returns for touchdowns, no block punt, whatever, right? So we got to prevent that, right? But also, if the Jets are going to score, make them go 70, 80 yards down the field. They have a tough time doing that. Zach Wilson's not a phenomenal quarterback at doing stuff like that. They got Hall and Cook, two really good running backs. I mean, if Hall goes off the field, you got Dalvin Cook coming in. It's like, are you freaking kidding me? It's like you got one beast after the other. Hall's average, I think he's leading the league like 6.5 yards a carry. Of course, one of them I think was like an 83-yard touchdown run. So that, of course, brings the average up a little bit, but it's like still 6.5 yards a carry. That basically, so you give him the ball 2 times, he gets 13 yards on average. The Jets have to run. Yep. Yeah, have to. Wow. And that's another good. Glad you brought that up. Under pressure, I think it's his quarterback completion percentage. Wilson is like a 41% completion percentage when he's under pressure. So that's right down Wink's alley. We gotta send some pressure, get some pressure on him, and make him make quick throws. Maybe make an errant throw. Maybe we can pick it off. Maybe bring it back to the house. But getting him under pressure, absolutely, it's going to be key. That really lowers his completion percentage big time. But we have to be very good. We have to be stingy against the run. Try to be, because Hall is very, very good. But you're right. We do have to win a turnover battle. We can't. I think if we give up like 3 turnovers and we only get like 1 in return or something like that, I think it could be very, very tough for us. Because usually you look at it like a turnover. So a lot of times, for the most part, I mean, unless you lose the ball at, like, say, the 50-yard line, say you're right on the 50 and just fumble it, you know what I mean? Yeah. But a lot of times, obviously, you either lose the ball either in your half of the field or you lose it in their half of the field. So if you lose it in their half of the field, you're almost kind of taking points off the board from you. If you lose it, obviously, in your half of the field, you're almost giving them points. So turnovers are absolutely huge. Yeah. And that's something that we have to be very, very careful of. Saquon can't have the ball ripped out of his hands. Tyrod's got to be very, very good with the with throwing the ball, which he's usually very good at that. But the Jets get very have a high pressure rate. They got a lot of guys that can get pressure on the quarterback. So Tyrod might have to make some quick reads, get the ball out quick. Obviously you want to at least take some shots down the field with Jalen Hyatt, but they, I don't know how, the offensive line's got to hold up on that, but you do want to at least take a couple shots, regardless, just at least to stretch the field a little bit like that. But just realize that a lot of times the Jets, their pass defense deep is very sound. That certainly doesn't mean they can't be beat, but as we did see in regular season, because Jalen Hyatt, I think he went in motion against the Jets and went to Sauce's side. And they don't, I don't think, if I remember, somebody was saying they don't switch. So it's like if Hyatt's over here, Sauce doesn't run after Hyatt. And if Hyatt runs in motion, I think they just they're on their own sides. So Sauce will be on one side and, and he doesn't, they don't switch. But the one time in preseason, once again, it was just preseason, but I think Tyrod threw the ball, but he threw it. I think he threw it out of bounds. I think it was, if I remember correctly. but Hyatt went in motion, snapped the ball, and Hyatt, whatever, I forgot what it was. He went 5-10 yards, but I think he did like a little stutter step or something like that. Then he took off, and he had a step or two on Sauce. And Tyrod, I think, wound up throwing the ball out of bounds, but you got to at least do something like that. You want to at least stretch out the defense. But no, you're absolutely right. It's probably going to be very low scoring. So what you're saying, to your point, run the ball. So even I mean, unless something really bad goes, I don't see the Giants being down 21-3 in the third quarter or something. If they're down, they'll be down maybe a touchdown or something like that, where you still can run the ball. Right. Try to control the clock, control, do what you want to do. It's instead of like the Giants when they were down 40-0 to the Cowboys in week 1. Well, that's, you're not trying to control, hey, let's establish the run. We're down by 40, Now, every team in the world knows what you're going to do. You got to throw the ball so they can pin their ears back and just rush after the quarterback. But as long as you're in the game, even having a lead, right? You can establish what you want to do. As I said, I think that the Jets, was it 135? Yeah, they gave up 135 yards a game rushing the ball. So they can be run on. But let's see, the Jets only average 19 points a game, so they don't score a lot. They only get 277 yards a game. I mean, they average 159 yards a game passing the ball. I mean, which is, even the Giants are even better than that. The thing is that the Jets have 13 sacks, which is, don't be too misleading, because they do get a lot of pressure now. I found out from Big Blue Kickoff Live. John Schmelk was talking about. He was reading off some of their players they're on the defensive front. A lot of guys have very good success rate as far as pressure, but they also have they are +5 in the turnover department. Now, a lot of times, if you want to you can look at a good team and a bad team, right? It's a little odd with the Jets being a +5, because I think they're 3-3. Okay. But Giants are 2-5. And you can, one of the things a lot of times when you're 2-5 is your turnover ratio turnover is going to be negative. And the Giants are -4. We've had, again, let's see here. It says that we have six takeaways. So we must have turned the ball over 10 times. So we're -4. So, bad teams do bad things, Kayvon, the ball goes right through his hands, right? Saquon, down deep in the Commander's territory, gets the ball ripped out of his hand. Bad teams have bad, they just, and so the Giants have to, if they don't win the turnover, they can't lose the turnover battle. They can't, they can't give the Jets a short field, and that's one thing that the Jets defense does very, very well. And let's not forget, when they beat the Eagles, thankfully, a couple weeks ago, their I think the top 2 cornerbacks weren't even on the field, and they still wound up with 3 interceptions. And one of those interceptions, I think they ran it back for a touchdown. So it gives them, they scored 20 points. One of them was a defensive touchdown. So their offense is not going to score a lot of points, especially now. You also look at the Giants defense is really, really coming into, I'm not saying we're top 5, defense, but we're certainly getting a lot better. We're relatively healthy on the defensive side. And we held the Buffalo to 14 points. They didn't score till the fourth quarter. And the Commanders scored 7 points. Of course, we blocked the field goal at the end of the game on 4th and 5. We held them. They needed to. They could have kicked the field goal there. But basically, their one touchdown came from the muff punt from Sterling Shepard, or the fumble from Sterling Shepard, however you want to look at it. So, our defense really seems to be coming on, And the nice thing about it is also because, we're doing this without Azeez Ojulari on there, right? Doing very, very well. And I thought I was kind of surprised, because I always kind of seemed like a lot of times, especially maybe last year when Kayvon was doing good with his edge rush, that's because Azeez was on the field. Well, Azeez is not on the field now, right? So with Kayvon, he's coming into his own. He's coming into his own. And now talking about Kayvon, I thought this was kind of funny. And that's Just it goes to show you. Sometimes, I mean, some guys are just, I don't know. They think they're like Jesus Christ or something like that. And they think they get like too big for their britches, or they think they're just too great or something like that. These two morons, or the one moron in particular, I think it's Tierney and Licata, whatever. I don't know what happened to Tiki. I don't know if maybe you realize those two guys were just freaking morons, and Tiki left the show. I don't know. I don't have enough time to follow all that stuff and everything. But Tiki, it used to be Tiki and Tierney. Now it's Tierney and Licata, I guess it is. But Carl Banks does a weekly interview on a Tierney and Licata show, I guess, discussing the New York Giants. Hopefully he doesn't do it anymore, because you hang up on me, brother. You know what I mean? I'm wasting my time talking to you two freaking morons, and you're going to hang up on me? Are you serious, dude? Dude, to me, he's a Hall of Famer. Ain't nobody setting the edge like Carl Banks, I'll tell you that much. And if you ever listen to the 1986 divisional round playoff game where we beat the 49ers 49-3, when certain people talk, you shut up and you listen. Well, if you ever listen to that game, the 1980 where we beat the 49ers 49-3. Okay, now keep in mind, Lawrence Taylor's on the field, Jerry Rice is on the field, Joe Montana's on the field, all right? Multiple times during that game, John Madden came out and said, this is an 86 game, divisional round, we beat the 49ers 49-3. He said multiple times in that game, he said, Carl Banks is the best player on this field. And he said that multiple times. He said they could not run to his side. He would set the edge. He would cause something to go wrong, whatever it was. Carl Banks was the best player on the field that day, and he said it multiple times. And that means a lot. To me, that means a heck of a lot. Let me tell you, Frank. So if he's not in the Hall of Fame, he's a damn close Hall of Famer. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion. The dude's played with all kinds of broken stuff and this and that and the other thing. I'll tell you what. And that guy spends time. I don't know if he's getting paid or not, but if he's going out of his way to talk to you two freaking morons, you just shut up and listen to what that guy. And you hang up on him. Holy cow! I hope he never talks to them two morons ever again. Let's see. During the interview, show host Tierney and Licata voiced their criticism of Kayvon Thibodeau, Kayvon's play during the first 2 years of his career. Tierney called Thibodeau an average player last year and added this: I see a player who kind of just jumps on a quarterback at the end and gets a sack. Banks was stunned at the comment and fired back. He responded by saying this unhealthy obsession with finding what is wrong with Kayvon Thibodeau, it's just bordering weird. Licata asked Banks to explain what Thibodeau does for the Giants. It led to a back and forth discussion debating the pros and cons of his play. Banks stressed that fans need more positivity when thinking about Thibodeau, and that it is unhealthy for the fandom to find this much criticism. Eventually, Licata and Tierney got fed up with the discussion and felt like it was going nowhere. As a result, they kicked Carl Banks off of the show and ended the interview. So I hope Carl Banks never talks to those two freaking morons ever again. Not quite. Now, this is on, Facebook here. I got to find it. He is on pace, Kayvon's on pace this season for 51 pressures and 14 and a half sacks. He's on pace. That doesn't mean he's going to get 51 pressures, 14 and a half sacks. I'll take that. I'll take. He's number 5, right? Over 5. Is he played like a Hall of Famer so far? No, absolutely not. Has he had some dud game, maybe, if you want to call it? Yeah, but hey, he's on pace, and that would be the first time ever a Wink Martindale player has gotten double digits in sacks, right? And he's on pace for 51 pressures. And let's not forget, right? He's, why did he that one pass from Howell, right? It fluttered up in the air, went through his hands. Well, why was he there to have the ball flutter through his hands? And he doesn't do it a lot, right? But he was in coverage. Why didn't he get a sack on that one? Why didn't he get a pressure? Because he was in coverage. Should he have caught it? Oh, yeah. He should have caught that one. Absolutely. But I think Carl Banks also, I think his fingers are like taped together and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's kind of, but he should have caught that, I'm sure. I can't stand a lot of Giant fans and media. They would rather said they told you so. Oh, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it's funny because a lot of times, like what I'll do, when the game is on, I'll have my computer in front of me, and I'll be looking through like I'm like in like 30 different giant groups or fan groups on Facebook, and you can just start scrolling through the comments, and it's so much of it's negativity. Oh yeah, it's unbelievable. It really is. It really, really is. But I would never talk to those morons ever again if I was him. Now, here. Kayvon Wink says Kayvon makes everything roll for the defense. The Giants' pass rush has come alive recently. The team entered Week 7 with just 5 sacks on the season, but they more than doubled that in Sunday's win over the Commanders with 6 takedowns. But, I mean, the Commanders, I think, lead the league in giving up sacks. So that's, nothing out of the ordinary. Defensive lineman Dexter Lawrence led the way with 2, but right behind him was outside linebacker Kayvon Thibodeaux with 1.5. After not registering a sack in the first 2 games of the season, Thibodeaux has been on a roll ever since. The second-year linebacker has had at least 1 sack in 4 of the last 5 games. He has 5.5 during that span. So he has 5.5 sacks in the past 5 games. I mean, I'll take that. I'll take that. Did he have a slow start? Yeah, yep, absolutely. And he has also picked up 19 total pressures over that stretch as well. So the first few games, where was he at against the Cowboys? Yep, But in the past 5 games, he's done very, very well. Defensive coordinator Wink Martindale praised Thibodeau's performance and complimented the young edge rusher for his recent play. And Wink said, "I've said this every time I come up here. I think he's a very good football player, and I think he's having a really good season," said Martindale. I mean, you're talking about a guy in the NFL that as an edge rusher, as a linebacker who played 68 out of 69 plays, which is a rarity in itself. I think that where he's at now, 5.5 sacks, he makes everything roll for us. I know no matter what he does, it may not reach what some people think he should be doing, especially because he's picked number 5. You think he should be like Jesus Christ out there and he should get a sack every play. But I think he's a hell of a football player. I'm glad that we have him. I'm glad that I've had the opportunity to coach him. So, and once again, is there stuff for him to learn? Sure, absolutely. But it seems like he has the right mindset, and he's very focused. He might have some other, outside interests or whatever. But I mean, as far as football, I think he's going to do as best as he can. He's going to try to constantly get better. We're just hasn't even been around for 1.5 years yet. Can he get better? Sure. I think one of the things, what the hell was it? Was his lower body strength? I think it was. I think that's what I guess maybe it was Wink mentioned that. Maybe, what should I work on in the off season? And he said, I think they said his lower body strength. So I think he was doing some exercises to work on his lower body strength, right? So maybe he might have to do the same thing, but you're seeing, it's paying off because basically, what did he have last year? 5 sacks? He has that already. Season's not even halfway over, right? So, you can see the big improvement. I mean, he's probably going to have twice the amount of sacks as he did last season, if not more. I mean, I'll take that, right? And then if he improves a little bit more in the offseason, usually a lot of times what like Shane and all they say is that with a draft pick, usually by the 3rd season, that's a good indication of what they're going to become. So he hasn't even been around for 1.5 years yet. Give the guy some more time, right? And plus, a lot of the time, we don't know what he's being asked to do, right? I mean, you can kind of see, Thibodeaux, he sucked on that play. Then you look at the next play, Thibodeaux, he sucked on that play too. You don't know what he's being asked to do. It's not like, you don't go back to 1975. You got a 4-3, you got the 2 defensive ends, the 2 defensive tackles, you got an outside linebackers, you got a middle linebacker, and that's the way, I mean, you don't know what he's supposed to do. And this is like the positionless defense. I mean, Wink Martindale could just have him, just maybe if he's not rushing or crashing down to make a tackle or trying to get into the back, maybe he's supposed to be out there setting the edge, maybe make sure nobody gets around or whatever. You don't know exactly what he's supposed to be doing. I'm just very happy that we drafted him. I think he's a very good ball player. Do I think he's, as of right now, like Hall of Fame material? No, but he's gotten better since he did last year. Oh yeah, I said also that's because the fact that also usually seemed like last year when Azeez was on the field, a healthy Azeez, like the 3 games that he was healthy last season, it seemed like Kayvon. They were always like the dynamic duo. Unfortunately, we can never have a healthy Azeez on the field at the same time with Kayvon. But Kayvon's doing it now, right? And I mean, who we got? Jihad Ward, Boogie Basham on the other side. I mean, so I mean, you can easily see where they could slide their protection maybe more on the Kayvon side or something like that, right? And he's still getting sacks. He's still causing problems. So I think, I'm very happy we got him. As I said, I'm glad Carl Banks stuck up for him. I hope Carl Banks never talks to those 2 freaking morons ever again. And then we got this here is the redemption game for Saquon Barkley. Now, where is this at here? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Now, is this from his brother? Running back. Okay, yeah. Saquon said his brother reminded him about the game and gave him a hard time over it. Saquon is eager. Says running back Saquon Barkley says he still thinks about the last game he played against the Jets where he had 13 carries for only 1 yard. So he is thinking about it. I mean, of course he won't, oh yeah, it's just another game. I got it. We're going to do the best we can do. He's going to give you the normal spiel and all that and everything. But apparently, his brother's giving him a hard time about it. So I said that, the Jets, you can run on them. So that might be a feed the Saquon or feed the Saquon now. Of course, that one game that we played against the Jets, of course, we lost. Shocker there. Let's see. The Giants were 2-7 at the time. They lost. The Jets beat them 34-27. So the Giants after that game fell to 2-8. Hard to believe, huh? Hard to believe. Fell 2-8. I mean, in that game, Daniel Jones did it. Daniel Jones was 4 touchdown passes. 308 yards, no interceptions. I mean, of course, we did. Jamal Adams had a 25-yard fumble return. The Giants were winning halfway through the third quarter. They were winning 27-21, and then they gave up the final 13 points of the game, and the Jets wound up winning. But the Giants' defense, the Giants in that game, their offensive line was not very good. They ran the ball 17 times for 23 yards, and they gave up 6 sacks. So it was Daniel Jones. He was in the whole game, right? Yeah. So Daniel Jones. Yeah. I mean, Saquon ran the ball 13 times for 1 yard. Wayne Gallman, remember him? Ran the ball 1 time for 2 yards. So the running backs ran the ball 14 times for 3 yards in that one game, the last meeting. But they said that, so it's just, like Saquon had a horrible game. Well, yeah, but was the offensive line not very good? Yeah, I mean, they also gave up, as I said, the offensive line gave up 6 sacks in that game in 2019, our loss to the Jets. 6 sacks. They lost 50 yards on 6 sacks. And I said, the running backs ran the ball 14 times for 3 yards. I mean, I remember. Not fondly. I remember some of that. I remember, some of the games you just like the one a few seasons ago, week 1, right? When the one time when Saquon got hurt in the second week of the season, but when we opened up against the Steelers, right? Saquon ran the ball. I can't remember how many times he got, like 3 yards or whatever. That was something ridiculous, but just our offensive line was not very good. Not very good at all. But Saquon, let's see here. The biggest victory of Saquon Barkley's week wasn't the one against the Commanders that resuscitated the Giants season. It was convincing a diehard Jets fan that he should want the Giants to prevail when the rivals go head to head. Ow. A Jets fan is his dad. That's right. I forgot his dad is a diehard Jets fan. My dad is a real big Jets fan. Having a Jets tattoo. His father has a Jets tattoo, said Barkley, whose childhood allegiances followed his father's. He's still rooting for the Jets this game. Wow. But he hopes we win this time. So I got him to say that out of his own mouth 2 or 3 days ago, I finally got to hear my father on my side. Giants-Jets week fuels trash talk in a lot of tri-state households. It's no different inside the Barkley's family, where younger brother Ali teased Saquon this week about one of the worst games of his 6 seasons and a moment that admittedly still weighs heavily on my mind, Saquon said. In his only regular season matchup against the Jets to date, Barkley carried 13 times for a career low 1 yard in their 34-27 loss on November 10th, 2019. It was reminiscent of when Barry Sanders, Barkley's favorite all-time running back, had 13 carries for -1 yard in a 1994 playoff loss to the Packers. Saquon said, my little brother definitely reminded me, Barkley said. That's when I realized, like, dang, I really had 1 rushing yard against this team. That moment before I ever had an ACL tear. So that was before. That was when he was nice and healthy, right? He said before I had even ACL tear or anything like that. That was probably the lowest moment I had as a player. He said, but then Barkley rebounded with 781 yards from scrimmage over the next 6 games. So he responded, and obviously as we were talking all, they're going to have to. He's going to need to be a huge part of it, and not only so much running the ball, but also maybe like out of the backfield as well, too, because if the Jets can get some pressure on him, Tyrod's going to have to try to, get some short passes. And the Jets are susceptible underneath, right? But Tyrod's going to make some good, smart decisions. Don't hold on to the ball. Don't get sacked. No strip sack, fumble, they pick it up, run it back for a touchdown. None of that. No. Try to be good with the ball. No pick sixes or nothing like that or anything. Make sure you take some deep shots, at least a couple, at least to stretch the defense at least a little bit, because you don't want them creeping up on you. But Saquon's going to be huge in this game, absolutely huge. And it's going to be one of those slobber knockers, low-scoring game. And, if it don't get disheartened, if we keep feeding, Saquon gets the ball 8 times and 7 times running in the first quarter, and he gets 10 yards. Because in the second quarter, he's going to get the ball 7 times and he's going to get 20 yards. Then the third quarter, he's going to get the ball 7 times and he's going to get 35 yards or whatever. And then if you keep running and running and running, then those 6, 7 carries in this fourth quarter might be 50, 60, 70 yards. You might pop one open and he might be able to take it off into the races or whatever. So, if the Giants can play with the lead, that'll be huge, right? They just can't get too far behind. They need to be able to still dictate what they want to do. And running the ball with Saquon is huge. Saquon's going to be huge for this game. So thankful that we got him back for this week. Even if we don't get John Michael Schmitz or Andrew Thomas back, it is what it is. But Saquon is absolutely huge. Absolutely. And he's just kind of showing him, showing Shane and Dable how important he is. And I certainly hope that they can open up their pocketbook or wallets a little bit next season and re-sign the guy, because he's, he makes a difference. He certainly makes a difference. All right, guys, it's been 48 minutes. Well, Vinny G, man, good talking to you, brother. Hey, good. Glad you're back, man. Good to hear you. So whoever spent any time, and Joe Stevens, good talking to you. Go Hawks, buddy. Go Seahawks. So whoever spends any time listening to me live, thank you. Or if anybody spends any time watching a replay this, once again, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. It means the world to me. Thank you. And as always, 3-day, you guys stay safe there and go Giants. Woo! Oh, yeah.